In the world of coaching, consulting, and training, clients will often tell us when we blow their socks off and do something amazing, and they'll tell us when they're very, very unhappy. The dangerous space is in the middle, when they are happy-ish. I'm going to share with you what I've learned from over 3 decades of working in the B2B and B2C space as a coach, a consultant, and a trainer, and as a trainer to trainers and a coach to coaches and a guide to guides. It took me many years of working with C-suite leaders, working with master coaches, working in various spaces around the world to realize that there was this no man's land that was really, really a blind spot for me as somebody who was interested always in serving people at a higher level and building my coaching business. So when the clients were extremely happy, I delivered a talk where there was a standing ovation, or I delivered a training program where there was excellent reviews. What would often happen is either you get super, super obvious people are willing to speak. They give you those 5 stars. They reach out. They come and shake your hand afterwards. The client sends you an email saying, wow, that was incredible. I mean, I've been very fortunate to have messages sent to me over the years that have warmed my heart, where people have used language like, that's changed my life. And then you know, okay, what I did worked. We're in that place of realization that the product I delivered, the solution I brought, the way I delivered it, everything was aligned. And therefore we can literally learn how to continue to improve, but we know we have a winning product or service. And on the other extreme, if somebody is unhappy, if they really are unhappy, they're also likely to tell us. But there's this massive area of a no man's land where people are happy-ish. They got some value. They're happy perhaps that they did spend some money with you and they took away, something. So they're happy-ish. In my late 20s, I had the first glimpse of what it felt like to create a product that hit a home run. I conceptualized a draft idea for a program that was going to be a 2-year program. I built up my database. I was an early adopter all those years ago, one of the first people in my industry to build a website and to start growing an email database. And I had a moderate database of about 3,000 people at the time. And I put together a draft idea. Now, it's important for you to know that as a side tip. I always realized that if you over-perfected a product at your desk and then try to push it onto people, it almost never worked. So luckily, even in my 20s, I started to realize the best way to perfect a product was in the fire of the client experience itself. Nothing quite like the client co-creating an amazing product with you to figure it out. So over a year, I'd given a lot of small free talks, and this was my way to learn and to refine my offer, and then put it into a draft 1-pager that I had as a 1-pager website, and then an email offer that I sent to my 3,000 strong database. I hoped for 20 people to enroll. That was what was going to make it viable for me, and 93 enrolled for a 2-year program. And that was the first time I'd ever experienced that feeling of smacking something out of the park. And then I delivered and refined the product through those 2 years. And within a year, I learned how to take the product to the next level and the next level and the next level, and ran that particular program for 8 years. And it really did launch my business. I was very grateful. At some point, I was training between 60 and 120 people per week. as well as having a lot of one-on-one consultations in between. Now, contrast is there have been other times in my life, more recently actually, where I spent a lot of time putting together a product and delivered it to some of my highest premium clients and was very enthusiastic about it. So I believed in the product, and some of my clients that have been with me for 15, 20 years, I was like, here's this new thing, right? And initially they were enthusiastic, but their enthusiasm was my enthusiasm. And when the product finally came into being and they all had access to it, there was a disturbing amount of silence. And that's when I realized they were being polite and they were being kind and they were happy-ish. So if your clients are in this middle zone, the happy-ish zone, they're not going to refer people. You don't have a runaway product. You don't have the kind of coaching or training solution that's going to pull business to you. Like I've had other products and programs over the years that have done that. I delivered a training recently, and unexpectedly, it was so popular that one training to one Exco C-suite has led to a rollout of a further 12 trainings to over 300 people. And that happens when we crack the code of that incredible, amazing, let's call it a runaway product. If you don't realize this, and that's why I'm telling you, I really hope to share this wisdom with you, because if you don't realize that the problem could be that your products are in this no man's land of making people happy-ish, and if you're wondering why you don't get referrals, why you don't get top reviews, etc., the question then becomes, are people happy-ish? They're happy enough to still perhaps do business with you, but it's not going to run away. And that's when I thought, okay, I need to do something about it. And this is what I did, and it's perhaps something you could consider doing. Number one, I chose one of my clients that I thought if I encouraged them would be willing to be honest with me. Okay. And the emphasis is on encouraged, because I knew the mutual admiration society that I have between myself and some of my clients. There's so much love, there's so much respect, there's so much history that there's a chance they won't actually be honest. And I needed some honesty. Number two, I actually set up a lunch with this one select client who I'd been working with, who had actually engaged in the product that I'd created. And then number three, establishing some trust and rapport, having a good conversation. And I'd created a couple of questions to ask this client. And I also wanted to get the view that all of the clients that were similar to this client may be having. So I focused on how can I be of service? And I said to her, look, you know that I'm always obsessed, literally obsessed, with making sure that I'm delivering at the highest level. And I know that possibly you may feel reluctant to tell me what's really happening in terms of this product. But please, I would like to know, tell me what's not working and tell me what is working for you, so that I can fix the problem or improve the product and the service. And I could tell that she was reluctant. And because it wasn't all the way on the one extreme of being terrible, she was in that happy-ish zone. It's almost like my clients wanted to like it because they're like me, and that's a problem. But she started telling me. And then I did what I highly always recommend, because it's worked for me at the highest level. It's worked in the B2C client space, individual clients. It's worked in the Even in the space of working with multinational enterprises, clients that have been worth 7 figures to me over 10 years, is literally to have a sticky conversation, which means that you find out where the person is struggling, where they are suffering, where they're stuck, and you custom co-create a solution. So here I had created a product, and now I was in the fire of the client conversation. And am I willing to, quote unquote, now please forgive me, it's a strong metaphor, but I call it killing my babies. Am I willing to kill my baby or adapt my baby, as in my product or my service, to actually do the thing I want to do, which is serve the client at the highest? And in that conversation, we started co-creating some solutions. What would work better for you? What do you actually need? And in that lunch, I came up with an idea with my clients. And I said, if I gave you that tomorrow, how would you feel? She said, that would be amazing. And I went home and I changed my product. I branched off another kind of variation of my product. And when I told the rest of my core clients, my long-standing clients that I've been working with, and I said, here is a solution. Maybe some of you have been feeling the same way. Here's this new offer. They all took to it immediately, thanked me profusely, and it's now a permanent solution. Happyish doesn't work. It's a blind spot. Being willing to have those uncomfortable conversations with our clients to find out what they really need, to continue to have sticky conversations even with existing clients, and pushing ourselves to keep finding ways to serve at the highest. Because when we serve at the highest, we create these runaway products that attract business to us, attract referrals, and get top reviews. And that's what I would love you to be able to do as well.